bakes. Make dreadful mistakes. Oh, those who steal cakes that Parson Man bakes.
Those who steal cakes that Parson Man bakes.
Make dreadful mistakes.
Make dreadful mistakes.
So I'm going to tell you about a parson. But wait a minute. Does everybody here know who or what a parson is?
No.
Well, let me explain. Let me play with the microphone. The Parsi are Zoroastrians, and 1,000 years ago they lived in Persia. Now they believed in order and in truth and in free will, which meant they got into trouble on a regular basis. So they did this incredible thing. They decided as an entire group to pack up their children, their belongings, and to leave Persia, which is, of course, modern-day Iran. Wandered across the bottom of the Eurasian continent until they came to India. Now, at the turn of this century, they came to the attention of a man named Rudyard Kipling. Some of you may know he wrote the Jungle Book. He also wrote the Just So stories. This is one of them. There was a parson, and he had a hat, and a knife, and a cook stove. The kind you kids must never touch because it worked with oil. Hello. Well, this Parsi, he loved to bake cakes. And this day he baked a cake. It was a big cake. It was 3 feet by 2 feet by 1 feet thick. And it was made with flour and water and cinnamon and cardamom and nuts and figs. Oh, and he baked it until it was golden brown and smelled most sentimental. Well, into his campsite that day, from the exclusively uninhabited interior of this island that was off the shores of the Red Sea, there came a rhinoceros. This rhinoceros came into his campsite. He was big and gray and shiny. He had a huge horn on his nose and 2 beady eyes that looked at the Parsi. And all he said was, "How?" Well, the Parsi didn't answer that question. He climbed the nearest palm tree. And he watched to see what this rhinoceros would do. Sure enough, that rhinoceros, he knocked over the cook stove. He spiked his horn right through that cake, and he ate that cake all up without so much as a please, or a may I, or a thank you. Now, the Parsi, he could have got angry. The Parsi, he could have got sad. But he came down from that palm tree, and he thought, and he made up this song. Now, I started singing it already, but we'll do it again. I'm going to ask you to do something else. Oh, no. I'm going to ask you to sing with me. I'll sing a line to you, and you sing it back. Here we go. Ready? Sing. Those who steal cakes.
Those who steal cakes.
The Parsi man bakes.
The Parsi man bakes.
Make dreadful mistakes.
Make dreadful mistakes.
Now ready? All together. Here we go. Those who steal cakes. The Parsi man bakes. Make dreadful mistakes. Oh, those who steal cakes. The Parsi man bakes. They make dreadful mistakes. Well, 5 weeks go past. They were hot weeks. You remember July of this year? It was so hot, the Parsi took off his hat, which he hardly ever did. buttons, the 3 buttons that kept his skin on. And he took that skin off. He left it by the edge of the Red Sea. He went into the Red Sea. He didn't ask anybody to go with him. He didn't ask anybody to watch his skin. He went into the Red Sea and he began to blow bubbles. Well, now the Parsi, who had gone back up the palm tree, looked down. And this is where I differ from my new friend Rashid, because I think that any fool can be a wise man if the fool just keeps his eyes open. He looked down and he saw that skin. He came down out of the palm tree. He took his hat. He went back to his campsite and he filled that hat with crumbs and nuts, burnt nuts, and plum pits, and bugs! Oh! Crawling bugs, and stinging bugs, and itching bugs, and tickling bugs, and he filled his hat. He came back down to the edge of the Red Sea, and he took that skin, and he shook that skin, and he filled that skin with the crumbs, the pits, the burnt nuts, and the bugs! Oh! And went back up the palm tree to wait. Now, the rhinoceros came out of the water. Rhinoceros could have taken that skin. The rhinoceros could have shaken that skin. The rhinoceros could have bathed that skin in the Red Sea. But he didn't. The rhinoceros put that skin on and buttoned those 3 buttons. Oh! And he began to itch, and he rolled his back on the sand, and he rubbed himself against the rocks, and he scratched his shoulders against the palm tree the Parsi was in. The Parsi hung on. The rhinoceros rubbed so long, and he rubbed so hard that he rubbed a fold in his shoulders, a great fold, pitted and scarred. He scrubbed his knees against the sand and the rocks so long that his knees became folded and rough and creased. And he rubbed so hard on his belly, he rubbed those buttons off, and his skin sealed shut. And he didn't stop itching. He hasn't stopped itching to this day. And he left for the interior of the island in a very bad temper, which he also has to this day. Now, the Parsi, he packed up his knife, he put away that camp stove, he put on his hat, and now he had a new song. This uninhabited island off the Cape of God, if we in this pink Arabian Sea, well now it's too hot here, it's too hot for the likes of you and me. So the Parsi went to Anantarivo, the upland meadows of Anantarivo, by the marshes of Sonaput, where he stayed for his days. But every now and then, you know, there's twinkle came to his eyes when he thought about that rhinoceros. He began to sing. Well, those who steal cakes and bake